Ethan clutched the eviction notice. His heart pounded in his chest. His family was about to lose everything. His wife, Sarah, and their two young children, Lily and Sam, depended on him. He had to find a way out. Despair threatened to consume him. That night, a figure emerged from Ethan's dreams, tall and handsome, with eyes like burning embers. His voice, a silken whisper, promised a way out.
I can help you, Ethan. I can give you everything you ever wanted.
Ethan's gut twisted. He knew who stood before him, the devil himself. Ethan had always dismissed the stories, tales whispered around campfires, legends passed down through generations, but here he was, face to face with the embodiment of darkness. Fear warred with desperation in his heart. He knew the risks, but the thought of his family's suffering outweighed his fear. Ethan, what's the catch? Ethan asked, his voice a dry rasp. The figure smiled, a slow, predatory curl of his lips.
Small price to pay for unimaginable wealth. A simple favor, nothing you can't handle.
Lucian, as the devil called himself, laid out his terms. Wealth beyond measure, success in all endeavors, a life free from worry and strife. All Ethan had to do was ask. Ethan's mind reeled. It felt like a cruel joke, the answer to his prayers wrapped in a nightmare. He thought of Sarah's tired eyes, her once vibrant laughter now muted by worry. He thought of Lily's drawings, full of color and life, and Sam's infectious giggle. They deserved a chance, a life free from the crushing weight of poverty. Could he really turn this down?
A life for a life, a soul for a soul, a small price to pay.
Ethan felt a chill crawl down his spine. He knew the devil's words were a trap, a gilded cage with bars of despair, but what choice did he have? Ethan closed his eyes, his heart a drumbeat in his ears. He whispered his assent, the words tasting like ash on his tongue. In that moment, he sealed his fate. He had made a deal with the devil, and he knew deep down that there would be hell to pay. The change was immediate. Ethan secured a high-paying job. Opportunities fell into his lap like ripe fruit. Money flowed like water. He moved his family out of their cramped apartment and into a beautiful house. Sarah's laughter returned, ringing out clear and bright. Lily and Sam thrived in their new environment. They had the best clothes, the best toys, the best education. Ethan showered them with love and affection, trying to make up for the years of struggle. He told himself it was all worth it, that their happiness justified his deal. He pushed the thought of Lucian to the back of his mind. He avoided looking at his reflection, afraid of what he might see. The guilt gnawed at him, a constant reminder of the price he would eventually have to pay. But for now, he clung to the illusion of happiness. Years passed. Ethan's wealth grew. He had everything he ever desired, but a shadow hung over his life. The fear of Lucian's return never left him. He tried to bury himself in work, in his family, but the dread lingered. He saw flashes of Lucian in the shadows, heard his whispers in the rustling leaves, felt his presence in the dead of night. He started having nightmares again, visions of hellfire and damnation. His laughter felt hollow, his smile strained. Ethan tried to be a good man. He donated to charities, helped those less fortunate, but it felt empty, like trying to fill a bottomless pit. He couldn't escape the truth. He had sold his soul, and sooner or later the devil would come to collect. The guilt ate away at him. He withdrew from Sarah and the children, pushing them away with his anger and frustration. He knew he was pushing them away, but he couldn't stop himself. He was drowning in his own self-loathing. Section 6. A Sinister Request. Lucian stood in the center of the room, a sardonic smile playing on his lips.
You're looking well, Ethan. Prosperity suits you.
Ethan's blood ran cold. He wanted to scream, to run, but his feet felt rooted to the spot.
You're here for my soul, he choked out, his voice barely a whisper.
Lucian chuckled, a low, menacing sound.
In due time, Ethan, but first I have a small task for you.
Ethan's heart sank. He knew it wouldn't be easy.
I need you to do something for me, a simple act, a life for a life, remember? He leaned in close, his breath hot on Ethan's ear. I need you to kill someone.
Ethan recoiled as if he'd been slapped.
No, he gasped, his voice hoarse with terror. I won't do it, I can't.
Lucian's smile widened, revealing a flash of sharp, predatory teeth.
Oh, but you will, Ethan, you have no choice.
Section 7. The Turning Point. Ethan's blood ran cold. He looked into Lucian's eyes, seeing the depths of his own despair reflected back at him. He had condemned himself the moment he made the deal. Now he was being asked to condemn another.
No, he said, his voice firm for the first time. He wouldn't be Lucian's puppet any longer. He wouldn't sacrifice his soul, his family, for a life built on lies. He would face the consequences of his actions.
Lucian's smile faltered. A flicker of surprise crossed his features.
You dare defy me, he hissed, his voice laced with venom.
Ethan stood his ground. He knew he couldn't defeat Lucian, not with magic or strength, but he could deny him the satisfaction of breaking him.
I made a deal with you, Lucian, he said, his voice trembling but resolute. But I won't be your executioner. You want my soul? Take it, but I won't stain it with another's blood.
Rage contorted Lucian's features. The air crackled with energy. The room grew cold, the temperature plummeting as shadows deepened and swirled around them. Ethan stood his ground, his heart pounding against his ribs.
You misunderstand, Ethan. You don't get to choose. The deal is broken, and now you'll pay the price.
Ethan closed his eyes, bracing himself for the inevitable. He had made his choice. He would face the consequences. As soon as it began, the pain subsided. He opened his eyes to see Lucian's triumphant smirk. Ethan felt a strange lightness, a detachment from the world around him. He knew with chilling certainty that his soul was forfeit. Lucian leaned close, his breath cold against Ethan's ear.
You were a fool to think you could escape me, Ethan. Your soul is mine, and now everything you hold dear will crumble around you.
Ethan watched in horror as his life unraveled. His business crumbled, his fortune evaporated, his friends abandoned him, whispering about his downfall. He lost his house, his possessions, everything he had worked so hard to build. Throughout it all, Sarah stood by him. Her love, unwavering, was the only light in his darkening world. She didn't care about the money, the status. She loved him, flaws and all. Her faith in him, her belief in his inherent goodness, gave him the strength to keep going. He knew he had to confront Lucian one last time. He wouldn't let the devil destroy his family, the one thing he had left. He found Lucian in their old, dilapidated apartment, a cruel parody of their former life. The air hung heavy with malice and despair. Ethan, you've taken everything from me, but I won't let you take my family. They have nothing to do with this.
You overestimate your importance, Ethan. They were always doomed to suffer, with or without me.
Ethan lunged at Lucian, his fists connecting with the devil's jaw. He didn't care that he was outmatched, outgunned. He would fight for his family, for their happiness, until his dying breath. Lucian laughed, the sound echoing through the empty apartment.
You're pathetic, Ethan. You think you can defeat me? You're nothing but a broken man.
He raised his hand, and Ethan felt an invisible force slam into him, sending him crashing against the wall. As he lay there, defeated and broken, a strange calm washed over him. He had nothing left to lose. His soul belonged to Lucian, his life in ruins, but he still had his love for his family, and that, he realized, was more powerful than any deal with the devil. He looked up at Lucian, a strange defiance burning in his eyes. Ethan, you may have won this round, Lucian, but you'll never break me. I may have lost my soul, but I still have my heart, and that's more than you'll ever have. Lucian vanished, leaving Ethan in the wreckage of his life. He had lost everything, his wealth, his status, his very soul, but he had found something far more valuable: redemption. He had faced his demons, his mistakes, and emerged, broken but not defeated. He returned to Sarah and the children, his heart heavy with remorse. He confessed everything, holding nothing back. To his surprise, Sarah didn't turn away. She embraced him, tears streaming down her face. They started over, rebuilding their lives from the ground up. It wasn't easy. They struggled, they fought, they cried. But through it all, their love for each other never wavered. Ethan found solace in their small victories, their quiet moments of joy. He learned that true happiness didn't come from wealth or success, but from the love of his family. He had made a terrible mistake, but he had found redemption in their forgiveness. And in the end, that was all that mattered.